Hi friends, it's Rosalie with Life Tips. I want to tell you a story. I've had a lot of violin students over my lifetime, but there's one that stands out. She was hands down the most fun to teach of anybody. A teenage girl named Liz Clark. Now, what made Liz so fun to teach was her response to my input. If I had to correct her on something, she'd say, shame. But if I offered the solution, then she'd say, genius. So no matter what I said, no matter what input I gave her, she would take it with gratitude and enthusiasm. Many times with more gratitude and enthusiasm than my suggestion even warranted. Sometimes some small suggestion and she'd still say, genius. So my point is that Liz took everything in stride. There was no fragile ego. There are students that you give them a suggestion and they fall apart. There are other students that don't even want a suggestion. They just want you to pat them on the back and tell them how amazing they are, just the way they are. They don't want to hear anything. You teachers out there know what I'm talking about. Liz was unique. And I will never forget the day when I thought I would push the limits with Liz. I thought, let's just see. How much nitpicking can she handle? I just wanted to see if she still would be just as enthusiastic if I gave her full force, like all the suggestions. Could she really handle it? If I gave her everything I had to offer, could she take it? I will never forget that day because I really tried to see if she could handle it. And I wonder if she went home and thought, well, that was more than usual, or if she even thought about it at all. But I'll tell you what her response was. She was the same old Liz. Thank you, and genius, and enthusiasm and gratitude. Nothing fazed her, ever. Well, my life is the life that changed that day, because I decided that from now on, I want to be as fun to teach as Liz is. I changed my own personal attitude. Okay, shortly after that day, I had a lesson. And I will admit, the first constructive criticism I received hurt a little. It kind of hurt my pride. But I thought, okay, be like Liz, be like Liz. Thank you, genius, this is great. Enthusiasm, right? Guess what happened? I got more constructive criticism. Now I'm thinking, okay, now we're twisting the knife a little, okay? But I was still like Liz. Thank you, this is great, this is wonderful. Enthusiasm and gratitude. The constructive criticism kept coming. That's the funny thing. If you receive the correction, you'll get more. This has served me well, okay? I happen to have two absolutely incredible teachers, Igor and Vesna Grupman. They have never been wrong. They have never failed me yet. I have absolutely no reason to believe that they would ever tell me something just to be mean. Why would I ever think that? They genuinely want to help me improve. So I have no reason to ever be anything but enthusiastic and grateful. And the more enthusiastic and grateful I am, the more I learn. Case in point, I had a lesson last week. Yes, last week, okay? Not a lot of professionals in my position still take lessons, but I do. Last week, everything I've ever thought about vibrato was turned on its head. It was like I had entered a parallel universe. And I will admit, I cried. I did. I was a little overwhelmed. I cried. 40 years worth of my assumptions turned upside down. It was a little bit, something to take in. But I still said, be like Liz. I thought of Liz Clark again and said, be grateful and enthusiastic. I said, thank you, through my tears. You see, friends, I had a choice. Do I stick to my same old self and just do the same old things I've been doing for the last 40 years? Or do I take a chance with the people I trust? With Vesna, who's never failed me, ever, who only wants to help me improve. And when she gives me a constructive criticism, I can say, thank you. genius, because you know what? It really is. It's genius. And guess what, folks? I'm doing it. I could stay the same as I have been for 40 years, or I could learn something new and possibly improve. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And you know what? I'm excited to see what happens in the future. So I want to encourage my students and anyone who wants to improve that if someone you trust who gives you constructive criticism, that you do not have your fragile ego in the way, but that you thank them and accept it with gratitude and enthusiasm, and you will learn more. Be like Liz. Best of luck.